Hey everybody, Luxinda Swirl here. Okay, I'm going to try something that I saw on another channel. Of course, off the top of my head right this second, I cannot think of the channel's name or the person's name. I will link to it below in the description. She's fantastic, and she's been doing a lot of things with tray molds lately, where she puts various things into the mold before she pours the resin and sees how it turns out. And you've seen me do that with, say, nail polish. I've done that with nail polish and paint, I believe, and maybe some other things. But she is the first person I've seen actually put a tattoo in the mold before the resin goes in. So we're not going to pour a thin layer of clear first, do the tattoo on that, and then pour more. We're going to put this right in the mold. So I have 3 tattoos here for my 3 molds. I've decided to do this one, which is actually 3 little ones that I'm leaving together like that. That's going to go in this mold. This one, which was the 4th bit off this little piece of tattoo card, is going to go in this mold, but I left this on. I left the stock number on because I wanted you to see that these come with little numbers on the corner of each tattoo block. These are smaller, obviously. These are not the full sleeve tattoos that I use on bigger tumblers. These are smaller tattoos. I also get these from Amazon. I'll link to everything below. But if you don't cut the stock number off, it will end up in your mold or on your tumbler or wherever else, on your skin, wherever you're applying it. So, that one doesn't really need to be cut down. This one is already cut down. I'm putting this here like that in that mold, well, straight. And then this one all by itself. Oh, no, I got that backwards. I apologize. I'm putting this one in here, and I'm putting this little one. Come on. And I'm putting this little one in here. Okay, so in order to do a tattoo, you need to take off the protective film, and then you need to put the tattoo where you want it, and once you put it down, you're sort of committed. So we're going to try and do this without trying to pick it up and move it around. I'll just go right for the middle here. And then you want to get the back of your tattoo wet. So I will do that with a paper towel. You can do it with, you can actually just do it with your hand if you wanted to. I'm going to do it with a paper towel. You could also do it with a rag if you don't want to use paper towels for this. Okay, let that one sit. Don't want to get my hands wet before we're ready. Now, I believe I said this one is going in here. So again, take the protective film off. Tuck down a little bubbles there, or tap them gently. Okay. Now, I'm going to let all of these dry thoroughly. I don't know if I don't usually do this. I usually just leave it to dry on its own. I'm going to leave it to dry on its own. I've seen people manhandle these things, brush them at this point with a damp paper towel and nothing happens. But when I try that, I rip something. So I'm just going to let it sit. I'm going to let it dry. And we will come back for the next phase. And we're back. Okay, these have dried. No hint of water. I left them overnight, so I'm pretty confident they're dry. I am now going to move on to the next step. For the next step, I am going to use this bottle of Stickles I got this from, where did I get this from? Joggles, I believe. If not there, I think Mr. Nola's Glitter carries them, and probably Michael's. And if that fails, then I believe the little similar looking bottles of glitter glue you can get at Walmart will probably work just the same way. But the next thing we're going to do, or the next thing I'm going to do, is use some Stickles. This is confetti. It's basically a mix of all the different colors. And I am going to use this to embellish the tattoos I just put in here. All right, that is going to do. I'm just using a little bit for accents just to see how it turns out. I will let this dry again overnight, and we'll come back and we'll pour resin. Basically, I am going to bring you back, but I'll probably do it all fast mo with my gear on. I'm going to mix up some resin, just enough to fill these obviously, and into that resin, whoops, and into the resin that I put in here, I'm going to mix in a whole bunch of, this is Crafter's Choice Super Sparkle White Diamonds Mica Powder. So the white backing on all of these won't be opaque exactly, but it'll be full of really sparkly white mica. And then these will be in the base of each bowl, basically. So the base, well, you'll see. But that's what I'm going to fill these molds with once everything dries again completely. So stay tuned. And we're back. Okay, let's see how these puppies turned out. This has been a long time coming for me because I've had a whole bunch of other things going on. So instead of being maybe a 3-day project, this has become like a week long. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm really eager to see how these finally turned out. So you'll notice I had an overflow situation. I was initially going to mix up just 14 ounces of resin. I mean, that was my plan. And like all good plans, it didn't go that way. I ended up with, instead of 7 ounces in my measuring cup of the part B, which is what I start with, I noticed after I put the lid back on and took a look at the line that it was at 8 ounces. I could have sworn I stopped pouring at the right time, but clearly I didn't. So I had 8 ounces of hardener in there. So I thought, well, all right, I guess I'm making 16 ounces of resin, and that's what I did. Luckily, this takes about 2. So here we go. This is our first bowl. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so tattoos work beautifully. You can feel it. It is a little sticky. I will be pouring a very thin clear layer, no sparkles or anything, just completely clear resin on each of these, on the base of each of these over the tattoos. Seal it in and have it look really nice and flat and shiny and have it protect. But I wanted to show you it's a little hard to see because I put all the sparkly mica in, but where I painted the Stickles glitter glue does look absolutely beautiful. It would have been easier to see, I'm sure, if I had used a flat opaque white, like just the Cast and Craft opaque white pigment would have provided a better background for seeing the tiny little glue sparkles. But they're there. Maybe we'll see them better on a different dish. So let's keep going. Do the other little one. There we go. You can see the Stickles a little better, especially down here underneath. Oh, actually those they're snake heads, so this is up. But anyway, right above the snake heads and on the side there. Try that again. There we go. You can see the Stickles pretty well. There we go. Ooh, I guess the heart would be up. Just beautiful. So again, the Stickles came out as a light accent, not a really huge, obvious accent, but that's okay. And that's gorgeous. I'm really happy with this. So now I know you can do tattoos in the base of a mold, anything flat. Put it on coasters and whatnot. You don't have to pour a layer first. You will eventually have to pour a layer over the tattoo, but in the case of all of these, that's pretty easy because there's a lip, because these are little bowls or trays. So that makes it very easy to pour a thin layer that won't, go over any edge or anything like that. It'll just sit there and harden and be gorgeous looking. Okay, so that's how these turned out. Oh, the shell. Must unmold the shell. This will be plain sparkly white. Gorgeous conch shell, I believe that's what this is supposed to be. It would need to be sanded, or I could add some resin there and fill it out, but I just sand it and put a couple little felt bumper pads on it. And that could even be a little jewelry tray, hold your rings, trinket tray. That is really pretty. Really, really pretty. All right, let's get an overhead shot. There we go. What do you think, folks? Have you tried tattoos before pouring your resin in? Because it works. It works fantastically. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Stay safe. I will see you in the next video.